John, we made it to our last one.
We're here. We're here.
Last one.
So
Travis, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
we have
Absolutely.
we have
Absolutely.
Travis Cottrell here. We're gonna get into some music. I think we're gonna allow some people to join in. We still got people rolling in.
They're
Um,
rolling in. I'm watching it. There they go. Rolling, rolling.
Guys, we're live. So leave us a comment in the chat. We'll reply. We want to know where you guys are from. You comment during the lyric video portion, everything. We're happy to comment back. We may even get the chance to talk about it here during the actual reading session. But but let us know. We'd like to hear from you guys.
yeah,
John, great,
I
man.
feel like this is just one of those that I've just been waiting for and really, really excited about because I can't remember a musical ever that we've released the way that we're releasing this one, where it's both. I don't want to get ahead of myself because we still got people coming in, but it's both a musical and anthems all at the same time. But this music is just so Christmassy and captivating, and I'm just so excited to be here. But why don't we just start off real quick? Travis, why don't you tell us how you're doing? Um, through the 2020 we've had, all the things going on. How is your family? How are your kids? How's everything going for you?
Good to see you, John. Good to see you, Mason, and everybody. I wish I could see all the faces. I'd like to know. I'd like to see everybody that's here with us. But I sure am glad that you're here. I'm happy to be with y'all. Well, yeah, nothing's really been going on. I mean, how about y'all? I mean, nothing.
Nothing at all.
We're we're doing well. So my firstborn, we just had a wedding. My oldest son just got married 2 weeks ago. Wait,
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago now, and he moved to Nashville or Franklin actually, and just started a job there. And so that was big. He just graduated from college this past weekend, so that was big. And we've just been quarantining. My daughter Lily, who sings with us a lot, is she's been home for just celebrating the pandemic with family like we've all been doing. And so she came home from Lee University and has been home. And then my youngest Levi, he just finished his junior year in high school. So we've just been hanging out and figuring out from day to day what life looks like. But I'm in the middle of a move. This is my last week at my church here in Jackson, Tennessee at Inglewood. And I start next week as worship pastor at a different church in Brentwood, Tennessee, Brentwood Baptist Church in Brentwood. So I just got kicked out of my office next door. I have some friends and family in there that are helping me pack everything up. We're doing that all this week. And so looking forward to that, but also, kind of the heartbreak of leaving a place we've been for 10 years, which we're super sad to do. We've made this home. And so, John, you've been here many times playing music with us here and
yeah,
made some great memories here in Jackson. So I'll really miss it.
Definitely. Well, I can't, I know your heart for that church and for the church you're going to. And both are just incredibly blessed to have you as a part of their ministry team. And I just want to thank you for being willing to, in probably a really stressful week and a really emotional week and very busy week, to take some time and stop and just meet with all of us and talk about this music. It means a lot to us, me and Mason, to know with all that's going on in your life that you'll take time and do this. It speaks to how much you care about all of us that are leading worship every Sunday in church and trying to find music that we can use. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I love it. I mean, this makes my heart beat fast. I love being a part of resources that help people connect to the Lord. I mean, that's the end of discussion right there, bottom line. And we just, I love it when you guys call or I'll call you and we get into conversation about, well, what are you sensing that the church needs now? What does it need to sound like? What does it need to look like? How do we get our hands on it? How does this help them connect their people to the Holy Spirit? And so I love that conversation. It's my favorite conversation in the whole world. And then jumping in and working on these projects like Thrill of Hope, that we believe will do that with all of our hearts. And I love all the things I do, but that's one of the things that this rises to the top for me.
Yeah.
And even this project, Thrill of Hope, is no exception. Like we were working on it, and Mason can tell you, because we worked really closely together. I just got so excited as it started coming to form, and started hearing the notes and feeling the presence of God and all of it coming together. It was a great experience. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Well,
Absolutely.
Well, that's a great starting point to get into this a little bit. Like, before we get into listing some music, talk about that. Like how, as you were introduced to reimagining some of these songs, and as you worked through this, how did this Christmas worship music impact you, and what do you hope for the church as they use this in how they engage in worship with one another and with the Lord?
Well, I think about how so much like Christmas is different. Christmas, in some ways, the target moves, but in some ways the target is exactly the same. And so, like, I'm sitting here looking at this chat and seeing all these names pop up. I'm even seeing some friends, like my friend Jonathan Turner from Concord, North Carolina, an old college friend. Hey, Jonathan. We have people
I see
from Puerto Rico and Romania and all these amazing places.
Amazing.
I think there's I think we all deal with similar things when it comes to Christmas. Like, there are some things that we have to hit with just a couple of swings of the bat. Like, and our targets are slightly different. There's a warmth and a nostalgia and a sentiment to Christmas that can be a little bit different than normal church music. Maybe we want certain songs to sound a certain way, but at the same time, we don't want to become so presentational that we forget, oh, well, we're worshiping here. This is the greatest worship season of all. I mean, if there were one, I mean, every worship season is great, but we want to maintain that nostalgia and sentiment with also the freshness of what the Spirit is doing in worship music now. And we want we want everybody to connect. And so finding music where we meet all of those things. I mean, sometimes Christmas music can be a little presentational, but we don't want to go so presentational that we forget that we're actually lead worshipers, worship leaders. And so finding Christmas music that touches all of those things and keeps worship at the center focus, it can sometimes be challenging. So when we write something or we arrange something or we find something that works, it really makes me happy. It really makes me happy. And that's the way I feel. I feel about A Thrill of Hope, because I think that the guys that did the tracks and that the church that we partnered with in doing it, they had found like a freshness to a sound that felt old and new at the same time, and yet there was nothing that constricted the singer or the worshiper in me to make me feel like I just had to listen. I wanted to jump in and sing and worship myself, and that's kind of the lane that I try to hit for Christmas. And I think that's kind of where we found ourselves landing with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and talking about the church that we partner with is Central Church in Las Vegas, and this kind of started for us about 2 years ago. John, you happened to be playing violin at my church, and we were doing some stuff, and we both kind of came back from that. And I think it was like the next week at work, and was kind of like, wow, that was really good. It was, I mean, it, like you were saying, Travis, like it was Christmas, but it was this fresh take on these things that we've heard every single year.
Right.
And I don't know, it just immediately it was like, okay, we have to do something with this. Like, we've got to figure out what we can do. And kind of fast forward about half a year later, was able to reach out to Central Church, and we're able to partner with them and release several of these songs. They were working on an album for about 5 years that released in 2018, and so we just kind of like picked some of the songs we felt like would work for our market. And I mean, I think it was, you know, these sound incredible, and I think it's, you know, every person that we've talked about is just like, oh man, like they hit the mark with this, and then Travis, I remember playing these for you, and it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I love, you know, like they kind of, like you were saying, Travis, they cross kind of all different styles. Like there's a couple of songs that are very, you know, like vocally kind of gospel driven, and there's a couple of songs that just kind of have this high church, you know, high choir kind of thing. And I think it's really cool too at Christmas when we get that chance to have big orchestra moments or band driven moments, or like these really lush choir moments. And then there's times for each, and what better place to do that than at Christmas when you've got all this stuff that you can do that with.
Right.
I think that my church experience here in Jackson these past 10 years, my choir here, they want to be super diverse. They don't want to stay in just a really super narrow lane. Mm-hmm. They want to be diverse, and at Christmas time sometimes they want to be a little challenged. I mean, they want something that's just a little bit out of the ordinary. And so I think what the goal here was, and I hope we succeeded, I feel like we did, was something old, something new, but something that makes me want to worship. And I feel like that kind of almost everything in the pot stirring together and making it something really, really cool. I think it's what we have, and everything that Mason said about the experience and getting to that point, all the reaction. I was right there. I was like, this is, you know, and I've heard a lot of Jesus music in my lifetime. I mean, you know, like, you know, sometimes I go, do we need any more? I mean, like, you know, it's like, what else can we do? And then something comes along and it feels so fresh and new. And it's like, yes, and I felt that way about this project.
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
It really is something. You know, you keep saying fresh, and that is the, you know, like when you hear something and you feel like it really has new life breathed into it. You know, I don't necessarily feel, I love Christmas music. Travis, you and I have talked about this, and I know you're a huge fan of Christmas music. But there do come times where it feels like you're almost numb to the wonder of it because it's so familiar. Right. And sometimes you have to kind of jar your musical experience a little bit to allow, because you're not changing the lyrics, you're not changing the message for sure, but if you kind of knock your ears on their heads a little bit, and
you're in my head so much right now. I agree with you 100%. Like, you have to take something out of its well-known context for people to actually hear it.
That's what Thrill of Hope is for me. And I want to also mention, just for all of you guys watching, yes, Central Live originally conceptualized their Thrill of Hope album, and we took some of their song ideas, but there was no choir on them at all. Were it not for Travis, we wouldn't have any kind of way to introduce this to choirs to lead in worship and to take this, what I believe is an incredible group of songs, to the next level of allowing every church in every kind of style and format to be able to use this in worship. And it's just a really, really special collection. And there, you know, to plug the newsletter, because we really work hard on it. If you've gotten your Choral Club box, which looks like this for all of you, I should have hopefully gotten it a few weeks ago, but inside there's a newsletter, and there's a piece that Mason and I wrote about kind of the heart behind this musical, and kind of the inspiration for it. Kind of goes like a level deeper about this story than we're telling you now, but take a listen to that. But inside that box, behind your choral books, there's a bunch of anthems. And the first one you're going to see is The Thrill of Hope. I'm just going to cover up my mouth. I'm sorry. A Thrill of Hope, A Christmas Moment. And we're going to, I want you to unpack those, but go ahead and grab that stack of anthems if you've got your box and you're looking at it, because we're going to listen to a few of those today.
also, this is in talking through this process, I think this kind of gave us something a little unique for what we normally do for Christmas. Again, something fresh was we had these songs, and we wanted to reach everybody with this. And so couple ways that you can get this. There are 5 songs, and so you can go to the website, you can purchase it all together as a collection, or you can get them individually. And so this was something that I know our customer base has asked for quite some time, and it just kind of presented itself with this. It was like, we just want everybody to be able to use this in every way they can. And, how do we do that? What's the easiest thing to do? And so this was what we came up with. So you can buy the whole thing together, or you can just buy each one separately. You can cherry pick whatever you would like to do.
Right.
So if you joined us in the past reading sessions, what we kind of did was we would talk and then play a song, talk again, talk and play a song. So go back and forth. So since we've talked about this and this was kind of all came from one space and everything, we're just going to go through and play a couple of songs right now. We should play 3 songs. So we're going to play Thrill of Hope, the Christmas Moment, which is the first song. If you're looking through the book, it's the first song. So we'll play that one first. Then we'll play the 3rd song, which is Do You Hear What I Hear? And then we'll play the last song, which is Go Tell It on the Mountain. So the 3 of us are going to disappear, and we're going to play through all 3 lyric videos. And like I said, we can comment in the chat if you have any questions. We're happy to answer that. Again, just pop over and say hi if you'd like to. Travis has been saying hi to some people. So so without further ado, let's jump into the music and listen.
All right.
Sometimes the world tries to tell you differently, but I believe that miracles can still happen. Just when it seems impossible, the unexpected happens when you least expect it. Once upon a time, on a dark and cold winter's night, I saw a bright star shining from the east, and I followed it. All of a sudden, an angel of the Lord appeared and said, "Do not be afraid. I bring good news of great joy for all mankind. Today, a Savior has been born to you, and He is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign to you. you will find this baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests."
shown a holy light. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed our Savior's birth. Oh, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, a humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Oh, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Yeah, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the
I'm so happy.
I am too. I think like we've been, like I said, we've lived with this for 2 years almost, and just hasn't gotten old.
No.
It hasn't gotten old.
And even Travis, you can turn your video back on. Even with us,
I'm eating.
Wow. Awesome.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Even like hearing it today, cause I'll be honest, it's been like maybe 2 weeks since I've listened to it, because it's good. After we work on it for so long, it's good to kind of break.
Yes.
But like hearing it today, it like brings the same thing in me as it did 2 years ago when I played it at your church, Mason.
Yeah.
Like it's just a joyful. That last song, I think it's my favorite.
Good
They're
job.
all great. All 5 of them are really cool. But that last one, for some reason, it strikes a chord with me. I think it is the familiar carol. We were all talking in the chat, and Travis, you mentioned that this is it's like a straight version of Go Tell on the Mountain, like we all know and love. And so it's just got a new arrangement to it, and kind of the way the chords move it and push it to this new thing, and the little hook line in the middle, like for some reason it just hits all the right places for me, and it makes me pay attention to the message of the song more so, for something that's so incredibly familiar. It's just really special.
And also don't forget, like when you are listening to music as a worship leader, I don't mean to sound patronizing in any way, but no music is going to fit your program just like a glove. Maybe it will, but my point is, like that last song, I would probably have a guy lead it, because that range, I mean, that girl's killing it, but not every church has a girl that could sing that chest voice and that range. You maybe do, and that would be fine, but because of where it's pitched, it won't lose any energy if a guy leads it. Or or if you've got a guy and a girl with good ears and they can almost do it like a duet. I was thinking the same thing about Do You Hear What I Hear? So if you hear something, you go, oh yeah, but I don't have that voice. Well, these songs, you don't need that voice, because you can take it and kind of curtail it to the strengths of your program and your volunteers, and it will still work. That was my point, is really we try to make these resources flexible so that they can mold to your strengths, and then also like come in under you and gird you up with your weaknesses. That's what they do for me, at least. So yeah.
And I was thinking, when we're at the end of Do You Hear What I Hear, there's a little, actually that back half of that, after the kind of the initial song ended, there's a little motif that happened, and it actually comes back several times in other songs throughout this. And something that I forgot to mention, but that's another reason why you can get this as a collection, because you can do these songs as a musical or part of something, and there is this cohesive thought through these songs. They're not just 5 random songs.
They share musical motifs. They share, like a couple of other songs touched on Joy to the World lyrics.
Yes.
And the actual Joy to the World song we didn't even listen to today, but they touch on each other, and they mesh together very well.
Absolutely.
That's very true. And I wanted to mention that first song, Thrill of Hope, A Christmas Moment. Travis, you were with us when we did our very first anthem moment with Oh Praise the Name. We did an Easter moment. Is that 2 years ago now, Mason, or was that just
2 years ago?
Yeah, two Easters ago. That idea of having this potentially standalone song that could either stand in the place of a musical if you didn't have the time or rehearsal space or whatever to pull something like that off, or if you needed another special moment in that season of the holiday we're celebrating. These could really be those kinds of things. And that, Thrill of Hope was such a standout with the child narrating and the beautiful video and Travis's vocal work on it. We just felt like this was the Christmas moment we wanted to put out this year. So we've got a lot of anthem moments that you can check out, both for Easter and Christmas and just non-seasonal throughout the year. But if that idea appeals to you, we've got several options for that now. But we've started off this musical with a moment, and I thought that was very fitting with just how we all felt about this music. But I wanted to mention that so people maybe new to that concept were not confused when they saw A Christmas Moment printed on the music.
Yep. Travis, any kind of last comments from you regarding the Thrill of Hope stuff or anything?
No. I was thinking he was talking about those moments, and I was like looking at you, Mason, telepathically going, if they only knew the one that we're cooking up right now.
I know.
I can't wait. I've already jumped ahead to that one, but we'll get to that. And yes,
but Easter 21 is going to knock some proverbial socks off.
So excited about it. So excited. No, I love this. I again, just to repeat myself again. It's important for us when we have these programs with our choirs at Christmas time to feel like you have the authority. Like when you buy this music, really make it pliable. If there's something that doesn't work for you about it, it's a really, really, really good chance that you can make a little tweak here and there and make it work for you. and that's why I love the resources that you can get with these projects now, when you can get stems and all sorts of things that help you fill in the gaps where you do have weaknesses. And so if you like something, if you hear something that you like, then jump in and give it a shot. And chances are even your weaknesses aren't really as weak as you thought they were. And this music right here, I'm going to be going to a new church, and I haven't even got my head around how they do Christmas, or what we do at Christmas time. That'll be coming very soon, I'm sure. And but I can't imagine that. I'm trying to think of a church where this kind of music wouldn't work, and I can hardly think of one. And so that's why I'm really excited about the Thrill of Hope. I think it can work just about anywhere.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of wraps up this portion of this. Travis, thank you for joining us, kind of talking through what has kind of been really 2 years in the making. So thank you for joining us, talking through this.
Absolutely. Thanks, sir. Are you saying that to me? Sorry, I was chatting with somebody.
I'm saying that to you, Travis, to you specifically.
Thank you. Look, I was just reading this. Do you see this? This person, Vicky, is saying that she has a choir of 12 and only 3 read music, and we have major music work by using tracks and having also sound guy. Yeah, like just jump in with whatever you have. I mean,
right.
And chances are it's going to work. So I love to hear that. I was just typing that, but then I was ignoring you, Mason. So sorry.
Well,
I won't type. You're used to that, though, right?
I am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
This was so great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this with Thrill of Hope. We're really honored that you came. So thank you.